Happy Friday, everyone. Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. Just a couple of quick show notes as we get started here. For those of you that haven't been in one of my live streams before or seen me live, a lot of times it looks like I'm ignoring the camera by looking this way. My camera is set up right behind my laptop, which sits in front of me, and I can't read the comments on my tiny little laptop. But I have a big screen over here that I can read just fine. That's why I look this direction a lot. The other notes that you need to be aware of, there will be no live stream next Friday, and videos next week will probably all be shorts. If I get anything out at all, I'm leaving on Tuesday morning to go to Ohio because my sister and her husband are going down to Florida for his mom's 101st birthday. So I'm going to Ohio to look in on Mom, who is in an extended care facility, but she seems to do so much better when she has visitors every day. So I'm going to go to my sister's house to go over and visit with Mom a couple of times a day because her extended care facility is a fairly short walk from my sister's house. So I hope to get a couple of walking videos or shorts up, that kind of stuff next week, but there'll be no live stream next Friday, and videos next week are going to be spotty at best because the internet, well, my sister does not have internet in her home, and my phone signal, if I remember right, unless they've added more towers, doesn't do very well in her neighborhood. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But Rick was happy I was in his live stream this morning because I was up unusually early. I don't know why, but he is currently stuck in traffic. I'm assuming he's on his way home. Josephine is here. Hello, Josephine. Glad you made it. Today was meant to be a cyclone. Yeah, it's the sunniest day all week. Okay, not a cloud in sight. And Jilly Rabbit, hello from Indiana, where it's snowing. It was supposed to snow here last night and this morning, but it never really got cold enough. You could see a little bit of snow mixed in with the rain, but it was mostly rain that we got here. Now they got just north of us, they got a tremendous amount of snow, and it was all rain to the south of us. We were right on the line as the storm front moved through, and it's still pretty cloudy, and I think I can see, yep, there's still a few little splashes hitting my window, so it is still kind of raining here. But I think that brings us all up to date on the stuff I needed to talk about. Beautiful. Let's go, Bob. Dakota Carver. Hello, Bob, from hot and sunny Oklahoma. I wish it was hot and sunny here. It's supposed to be fairly warm, well, up to about 50 tomorrow, but then they're calling for maybe 70 on Sunday, which would be just freaking awesome. Hello, all. Just tossed our ribeye in the air fryer. We'll enjoy it while watching. Yeah, because I am going to talk about what I eat, I cooked up my big tray of chicken thighs, bone-in, skin on, in the oven yesterday, and the 6.5 pound tray or whatever it was had 8 thighs in it, and I ate 5 of them yesterday for my meal, and then I had 3 more today with a pound of ground beef. So I'm a little on the stuffed side right now, but it was all really good. Marilena says, hello, everyone. Can't believe it's Friday already. Yeah, time just flies right along. And Rick is in Florida. I work in a nursing home, and it can be lonely. And yet, we're not allowed to call them nursing homes anymore. They're extended care facilities. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, my sister walks over to see my Mom every day, usually twice a day. She goes over in the morning after Mom's, because they usually get Mom out of bed by about 9:30. She sits up in a chair and eats breakfast. Janet's there to help her finish up with breakfast and talk to her for a while, and then she goes back for dinner to help her with her dinner. And she's usually back in bed by that point, sometimes not so much. But my sister visits twice a day, and my mom's roommate, her granddaughter, comes almost every day as well. And the last time I was there, I was talking to the nurses at the nurses station. They're like, yeah, your mom's room has more visitors than the rest of the center combined. Because, people, they go to the nursing home to visit their loved ones every other weekend for a half hour at most. I mean, people just, they like to throw their old loved ones away and just forget about them. But that's the whole reason my sister spent so much money getting Mom moved, because she got sick down in New Orleans while I was living down there taking care of her. Not my fault, by the way. She fell. But Janet wanted to get it done while Mom was still self-pay for everything, because we didn't want her to be trapped in New Orleans in a nursing home so far away that none of us could get down there to visit but once or twice a year. So the only thing that wasn't covered under Mom's state of Ohio insurance was the ambulance ride from New Orleans to Ohio. And my sister Janet, bless her heart, picked up the almost $15,000 bill for that out of her pocket. It took me longer to drive to Fresco, Guaymas than it does to bike there. Yeah, well, because when you bike, you don't have to, you can stay on the sidewalk and you don't have to deal with traffic. Having a late lunch of heart attack chicken. It may be lunch and dinner. Leonard. Okay, and we have a question. I hear that cream cheese is good in limited quantities, but they never specify how much. Would 2 tablespoons of cream cheese be okay per day? I never had weight issues. I don't see where that would be a problem. What you want to do, though, is make sure you're not having any of it for a couple of weeks so you know what your baseline feels like, and then add the cream cheese in. And if you don't feel any different, like you don't feel any worse, you don't notice any joint pain or anything like that, then I'm sure it's perfectly fine. Everybody reacts to dairy a little bit differently. Like Rick, I know, has yogurt almost every day. If I eat yogurt, I get sick to my stomach and feel really puffy. So I can't do yogurt. And, some people do okay with cheese. Some people do okay with cream cheese. I don't see any problem with that. Just keep track of how you're feeling. And if you don't feel like you're having any problems with it, then by all means, continue to use it, which is why, I'm down to about a scoop and a half of coffee in my coffee pot in the mornings, when before it was three heaping cup scoops. So I am slowly reducing the coffee, but that's, what I've always said about coffee. I've done several experiments where I didn't have coffee for 30 days, and one was a 60-day experiment, and I didn't really notice any difference. So anything like that, whether it be cream cheese or coffee or spices or whatever it is you're doing, as long as you're getting the results you want and the things you're adding don't make you feel bad, I see no reason why you shouldn't have them. I hope that answers your question. Is laughing about something, I don't know what, but okay. And yes, Friday again already. How you doing today, Bert? It is Friday again already. For those that joined late, just a quick recap of what I covered in the beginning. There will be no live stream next Friday because I'll be in Ohio, and videos all next week will be hit and miss. I'm going to try and get some shorts up and maybe some 5 to 10 minute walking videos just recorded on my phone and uploaded straight to YouTube without any editing, because I'm going to be in Ohio all next week visiting with Mom. But while we're at a pause here for comments, I do have one little other piece of business I have to take care of. You guys know I do Keto Chow stuff. I primarily got associated with them for the discount codes so that we could get electrolyte products, daily minerals, that kind of stuff. But Keto Chow shakes are okay. And if you happen to need, dental work or some other kind of mouth surgery, it's nice to have something you can fall back on that doesn't require a lot of chewing. If you've been watching YouTube at all, you know that they came out with a new flavor of Salty, which is their electrolyte packets that are flavored, basically in direct competition to Element. But they sent me some because when they originally sent out the sampler pack, I had commented that I didn't really care for the Mondo melon flavor. And they reworked the flavor. It has more flavor now, but I still don't really care for it, which is why I'm not doing a whole video talking about Keto Chow's new Mondo melon. If you liked the Mondo melon before but didn't think it was quite strong enough, you'll probably like the new flavor. I didn't care for it, and I still don't care for it. But because they sent me a couple of packets of it for free, I do have to at least mention it. So now I have mentioned it. It's okay. I mean, the Booyah Berry and the new one that they came out with a few months ago, Cherry, both really good. Those are great. Mondo melon, even the reworked flavor of it, not so much. Okay, that's enough Keto Chow salty talk today. Bonjour, Bob, and happy Friday. Hello to you, Keto Carney Cajun. I hope everything's going well down there in New Orleans. I hope it's nice and warm, like it's not in most of the country. Although I had somebody from Oklahoma up there a bit up in the comments comment that it was nice in Oklahoma. So I'm assuming that it's nice down there in New Orleans. Fruit flavors are nasty to me. Yeah, some fruit flavors I like. Like I said, I really like the cherry. And like I have said, I use them. I actually use about a half a packet a day because this is as good a time as any to talk about it. So let me change the banner here real quick. One of the Cerule products that I use every day is their Collagen Active. It's their blue drink mix thing that has several different types of collagen peptides in it, plus a little of the Cyactive anti-inflammatory. I use it every day. It kind of tastes like the flavor that it comes in kind of tastes like, it's not bad, but it's not good. It's like that flavor of Kool-Aid that your mom got because it was on sale. Nobody liked it, but everybody drank it anyway because that's the flavor of Kool-Aid Mom made that week. So I add about a half a packet of the salty drink mix to it to add a little bit of counter flavor. And it's really good that way, and it ups my electrolytes, and there's a lot of good reasons for it. Yeah, and I know, Rick, you're not going to like Kool-Aid either, but a lot of us grew up on Kool-Aid. This was back before everybody got, all the soda they could drink all day, every day. Our parents, like my mom, she had a pitcher of Kool-Aid and a pitcher of iced tea in the fridge. Not sweetened, just iced tea. So those were the two drinks that we had back when back when I was a kid. They need a steak or iguana flavor or bacon. That would be good. And brown butter flavor. Yeah, that would be good too. Yep. Can't imagine why anybody would want to ingest fruit flavored stuff. I prefer steak flavored beef, but that's just me. I drink the flavored stuff because the plain electrolytes are just a little bit too salty to me, which is why, yes, there's a little bit of stuff in there that I probably shouldn't have, but at about a half a packet a day, I feel fairly safe that that little bit is not going to hurt me. And I certainly haven't felt any different, except for better because I've had more electrolytes in my system, as well as most of that is probably the drink. Now, Professor K, who's really big in the organization of Cerule, is trying to talk them into a unflavored version of the collagen active, but so far he's been a little unsuccessful with that because, if it was unflavored, I would probably drink it, even if it had a little bit of a salty taste to it or something. But straight electrolytes, because I've tried what they call naked, which is no flavor, and I have added just the liquid daily minerals to it, and that's all just a little bit strong. I like to add the daily minerals into my ground beef while I'm cooking it, because all it does is add a little bit of saltiness to my ground beef. Jiffy is here. Good afternoon, Bob. Almost missed your live. Yeah, that happens. Sometimes YouTube sends out notifications. Sometimes it doesn't. It's just kind of hit and miss. Oh yeah, the pitcher plows through the wall. I don't know what that is, but okay. Ovaltine is what I remember. Ovaltine, we never had it. Luckily, I didn't have to suffer through Ovaltine much because my mom didn't like it, and she didn't keep anything in the house that she didn't like. Yeah, I think most people's parents tried to get them to drink Ovaltine. That was really big when I was a kid. Not really. Sugar addicts might be triggered by the flavored drinks. Not really. Depending on where you're at in your journey. In fact, if you're trying to break a soda habit or some other sugar habit, using the lightly flavored drinks, whether it's LMNT or salty, or I know Redmond's has Relight, which has a couple of flavors in it. Any of the electrolytes that have a little bit of flavor in them is probably a good substitute to wean yourself off of things like soda and other sugary drinks. And if you're like me, you will eventually use less and less of it. Like I said, I use about a half a packet a day, and I put it in my big water bottle. And this thing is about twice the size of what it calls for you to use for a packet of the stuff. So I use it very diluted. But, if you don't want to use that kind of stuff, you don't have to. I just throw ideas out there, pick what you like, throw away what you don't. And they were commenting about this. I believe it was on Rick's live stream today. They were commenting about how nice the carnivore community is. And everybody is very nice in the carnivore community, except Rick, who likes to comment on all of the things that aren't meat, that it's all duck food and nobody should ever eat it. And while I agree with them, it's not everybody can be perfect like Rick. My dad was horrible, put an extra cup of sugar in our Kool-Aid. Yikes. Yeah, ours was always a little tart because mom thought sugar was too expensive and she didn't like the amount of sugar you were supposed to put in it. So she actually cut back on the sugar. Um, and people were doing that a lot, a lot. Those of you that are old enough remember Kool-Aid, which was invented here in Nebraska, by the way. When we were kids, came in little packets so that you had to have sugar to add to it yourself. Well, then, because people weren't using as much sugar as they thought they should use, they started putting out the big packets that already had the sugar in it. So all you had to do was dump it in the pitcher and mix it up. Do you supplement minerals? And if so, how do you determine how much? Well, that's a really good question. Yes, I do supplement minerals. I use Keto Chow's Daily Minerals that was designed in conjunction with Dr. Barry. It comes in both capsule form, if you don't like the taste, which I don't, and it also comes in a big 32-ounce liquid. Now, if you take the recommended amount, that's a full ounce, which makes the bottle last 32 days. And I think the last time I checked, it was like $67 for a bottle. That seemed a little expensive to me. And because I eat mostly cheap ground beef, I figure I'm getting most of what I need. Now, I did notice when I got the daily minerals and started adding, and again, I just use like a quarter of a serving because a regular serving of the liquid is 1 ounce and I just put a splash into my food. Or if I'm using the capsules, I believe the serving recommended is 4 or 5 capsules, and I just take 1 or 2. I take a very little bit. And when I started doing that, I figure I must have been deficient in something. I don't know what it was, but the second I started supplementing with a little bit, just a little bit of minerals, my cravings went way down. So I still use it a little bit, just not very often. I mean, I use it every day, just a tiny little splash in my ground beef or 1 or 2 of the capsules. I don't use a full serving. And basically what I would do for you is start with just a little bit. And if you don't notice a difference, up it a little bit until you eventually you might get to a full serving, or you can go the other way. Take a full serving the day you get the stuff and then slowly peel it back until you go, okay, that's where I feel the best. It's just like everything else in this game. It's a guessing game because we don't really have any idea. I mean, we do know what the nutritional needs for a human being are. The problem is that we're trying to overcome the lies that they have told us basically our entire life. Loving the 70s weather, but cutting grass year round has its drawbacks. Yeah, well, here we cut grass half the year, the other half of the year we shovel snow. And I don't know if anybody saw the video I put out where I was doing the ice and snow removal. I think that was yesterday's video. It was yesterday's video on my channel. I was originally going to do it with the shovel, just the shovel. But that ice was really hard to break up off the driveway, and it was very slushy and heavy. And about halfway through, I got out the snowblower just to see if it would clear it off. And while it didn't get all the way down to the concrete, it did okay. So, and now, of course, the driveway is completely clear because it rained last night. It's been raining all day today. But That snow was, I won't even call it snow. It was slush. It was really, really heavy. So, the downside is, I don't have to cut my grass all year round here, but I do still have to do snow removal. And I know you got snow in New Orleans this year, but I'm guessing you didn't actually shovel it. You just sat there for a day and watched it melt, and then life went back to normal. What are the symptoms you were getting without electrolytes? Not sure how I've lived without them. I just didn't have energy. I had some energy. I felt a lot better, but when I added the electrolytes, I felt even better than I did, and my energy levels went up even more. And as I said, when I added the minerals, my cravings for other stuff went way down. So, it's just one of those things. Rick, you've been doing this for so long, and you're probably getting plenty of electrolyte type stuff because you eat wild caught animals there in the stuff that you catch in your backyard. You occasionally get duck eggs, you occasionally have ducks, you occasionally have iguanas, and I'm guessing you didn't just start doing that a few days ago. So you probably are getting plenty of electrolytes because you're eating wild caught game. Yes, I have some good comments on my channel. I'm far from perfect though. I remember Tang as well, the astronaut drink. Yes, Tang. Oh boy, that was some really nasty stuff. But we all wanted it as kids because who wants yucky old orange juice when you can have Tang? Because that's what the astronauts were drinking. I remember all those ads. Yep, just looked up Ovaltine. It appears to be 78% carbs, 2/3 of which is sugar. Yep, that's the good stuff we were fed as kids. And Ovaltine is probably the healthiest thing a kid could have today compared to all of the crap they're getting now, which is scary to think, which is why when I was in elementary school, there weren't very many chubby kids. One in each class or one in every other class, so that you had 5 or 6 chubby kids through the entire elementary school. And now you're lucky if you find 1 or 2 kids in an entire elementary school that aren't chubby or just flat out obese. Ovaltine tasted like chocolate vomit. Yeah, see, it was the whole thing with Ovaltine. Is because they were trying to combat Nestle's Quick, which was the chocolate powder stuff that you mixed in to make chocolate milk at home. And it was very popular when I was a kid. And Ovaltine was the healthy alternative to that because it was supposed to have more vitamins and other stuff in it. So if you could switch your kids, parents were convinced that if they could switch their kids from Nesquik to Ovaltine, that they had made their kids miles healthier, even though we know that's a lie. The typical delusional idea of nutrition 100 years ago. Yep. Sounds like Ovaltine is like Quick and Milo gross, but I've never liked chocolate. I like chocolate. I haven't had chocolate in a while. In fact, if I was going to cheat with something, it's not like I'd go out and get a whole great big candy bar or something, but those little squares of chocolate that you get, Ghirardelli, I can't remember the name of them. It starts with a G, but they have these little individually wrapped small chocolate squares. If I had those in the house, I would still eat them. That's why I don't have them in the house, because I do like chocolate. Well, if you have any other questions or comments, now's a really good time to get them in, because it appears I've gotten down to the end of the comments again. As always, if there's something that you want to ask that you don't want to put out over the internet by typing in a question, you can always send me an email at semiretiredbob@yahoo.com to get your question answered that way as well. Because I know there are some people that feel a little weird about asking questions in live streams. You shouldn't, because as we've just discussed, the carnivore community is very friendly. And if I don't know the answer, somebody in the chat probably will. Oh, let's see here. There's 20 people in the live stream, and I see pretty much everybody has commented and said hi. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. But yeah, a couple of topics since we're at a pause in the comments here. For those of you that tuned in late and didn't hear, there's not going to be a live stream next Friday because I'm going to be in Ohio. And all of next week's videos are either not going to be there or they're going to be shorts because I'll be trying to get stuff uploaded from my phone in the form of shorts or shorter long-form videos recorded on my phone and sent straight to YouTube without any editing because I'm in Ohio. And my sister does not have internet in her house, and the cell phone reception in her neighborhood is very, very poor, to say the least. If I had a bar or box of chocolate in 30 minutes, I would have a headache and then vomit. Not good. Yeah, well, some people are like that. You know, some people can't eat stuff. I would be the same way with kale. You know, I know there are some of those people on the other side of the aisle that think kale is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't understand how they eat it. It's like, Craig is not here today, but I'm sure he'll watch this at some point. That's the way I feel about sardines. I can choke them down, but they don't sit well. I feel like I want to throw them back up. I don't do sardines because I don't like them. And I've eaten them. Craig actually sent me a case of sardines, and I ate some live on video and put that out there. And I'm not a big sardine person. So everybody has their food or other foods. Oh, excuse me. Or other types of foods that they just can't eat that other people seem to like. And see, that's the other thing that Rick comments on here. Sardines are tasty but pricey. A lot of the things we used to eat as carnivores, sardines, kippers, and in my case, Spam, potted meat, Vienna sausages. We ate all of those foods because they were cheap. They filled in the budget. Are they great for you? No, but they're still better than everything that's sold in a box or a bag or a package. But now that stuff is, because you guys know, you've seen it. Well, if you go back and watch some of my other videos, you saw me loading up. I had at one point 3 cases of Spam. I don't really eat Spam anymore because Spam is expensive. And to get full on Spam, I have to have 2 cans of Spam. And, you used to be able to get it, $1.50, $2 a can. So for $4, I get a whole meal. But now at, depending on the sale price, somewhere between $4 and $4.50 a can, that'd be $9 a meal to eat a meal of Spam. For $9, I can have 3 pounds of ground beef. So I don't really eat Spam anymore. Bacon, butter are also expensive nowadays. Yeah, I don't really eat bacon very often unless I catch it in the sale bin at the grocery store because it is so expensive compared to, once you've been doing what I've been doing, and I haven't been eating eggs for the last probably 3 weeks now. I've just been eating ground beef with a side of beef. And well, like yesterday, I had some chicken and a little bit of the leftover chicken with my ground beef today. But I stopped buying eggs when I added up the price and realized that for what I was paying for 6 to 8 eggs, which I can stomach eggs, but I don't really love eggs the way I love ground beef. I thought, well, shoot, I can get a whole nother pound of ground beef for the cost of these eggs. And the whole reason I was getting the eggs in the first place is because at about 10 cents a piece, I could add 8 eggs and get a whole nother pound of food in my meal for 80 cents to go with my beef, which is why I ate all of those eggs. But now if the price of eggs is way up, I'll just have 2 pounds of ground beef instead of 1 pound of ground beef and some eggs. Now I expect prices, because it takes on average about 12 to 14 weeks for chickens to grow from chick to egg laying in the brands that they use in commercial hatcheries. So hopefully here sometime in the next 6 to 8 weeks, the price of eggs will start to come back down again, but we'll see what happens. I think the price of everything is going to come back down eventually. It's the way things are. I'm having some mussels and shrimp right now, but can't do sardines. Yeah, I like mussels. I like shrimp. And again, a lot of that kind of seafood is really expensive here in Nebraska because I am about as far from deep water as you can get. The only kind of shrimp we get here is frozen because you can't get fresh shrimp here in Nebraska unless you really pay a premium for it someplace like Whole Foods. Any thoughts on flavored butter seasonings, trying to get the wife on board? As long as you try them one at a time, I see no problem. I'm assuming you're talking about flavoring the butter yourself, because I don't know that I would buy flavored butters from the store. But, I used to make my own garlic butter. You just buy some garlic powder and some butter, and you sprinkle the garlic powder on the butter, and boom, you've got garlic butter. And seasonings, again, I would add them in one at a time, like anything, to see how your body reacts. And then if you're not, if you don't have any bad reactions, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to use seasoning. The thing I like to talk about is early in my journey, right after I first started, I still had a bunch of seasonings on the back of my stove. And I had 1 serving of taco seasoning left on the back of my stove. And I was about 2.5, 3 months in, so I was really starting to feel good on carnivore. And I thought, what sounds really good is a taco bowl. So I whipped up my ground beef. I threw some shredded cheese in there, but that was after I had added the taco seasoning to it and a little bit of water to let the seasoning soak in. It really smelled good. It was fantastic. I put some cheese on it. It was really, really good. The next morning, I woke up in pain. It was like I had set myself back. Now, it only lasted a half a day or so, but that taco seasoning made me feel like I used to feel. And I have no idea what ingredient it was that did it to me, because it was a pre-mixed thing of taco seasoning. So now I have since discovered that black pepper I can't do, but red pepper is just fine for me, which is why I tend to use a lot of Frank's hot sauce on stuff, because it adds some spicy seasoning, but it's just red pepper and vinegar. Nothing bad in that affects me. Other people are the opposite. They can have as much black pepper as they can dump onto their steak. But if they put a few flecks of crushed red pepper on it, it makes them balloon up in their joints or whatever. So you have to be careful with seasoning and go one spice at a time to make sure you're not having any reactions to it. But there's no reason not to have seasoning if you're still getting the progress you want to get with it. Now, technically, that's not carnivore, because most of those seasonings come from plants of some sort. But if you're not having any bad reaction to it, I see no reason why you shouldn't. Yeah, and you've been without eggs for a week now because the price is high. I understand. Yeah, at least iguanas, ducks, and wild chicken is still free. Yeah, and see, you've got that down there, Rick, where here in Omaha, you don't see too many free-range chickens wandering around the streets. And if there was an iguana here in Nebraska, people would build a cage around it and have people come in and look at it because it would be a novelty here. Jilly Rabbit. Let me swing back up. Oh, yeah, mussels and shrimp comment. And Feral Grandma is here. Hello, Feral Granny. How are you doing today? I hope it's nice down there in Texas. Because one of the applets I have that pop up when I turn on my computer, I think it said 72 degrees at my property down there in Texas this morning. So hopefully it's nice down there, Granny. Here, Spam is about the same price as ground beef. Ridiculous. Yeah, and it's more expensive here because you get one can, like I said, for $4 or $5, and I can get a pound of ground beef for $3. So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Back when I first started carnivore, having the occasional fill-in meal of Spam or a few cans of potted meat or a few cans of Vienna sausages or even, a big plate full of deli meat from the deli counter at the grocery store. That made a lot of sense because it was a lot cheaper than buying good beef or even ground beef. But now that kind of stuff has gotten so expensive, it's ridiculous. I don't know that QE. I don't know what that stands for. What's red pepper? Crushed red pepper. You've never had red pepper before? It's a much spicier pepper than black pepper is. It's what hot sauce is made out of. It's what Tabasco is made out of. I wish I could explain it better, but I can't. It's crushed red pepper. Yeah. And I've heard that white pepper is milder, and I probably wouldn't have a reaction to it, but I'm hoping at some point I'll be visiting somebody that actually has white pepper in their cabinet so I can try a little bit of it, because it is a lot more expensive than red pepper or black pepper, and I would hate to buy a container of white pepper to discover it affects me the same way black pepper does. After about 2 years of beef and water, I cannot eat fish. It used to be my favorite. I do still occasionally eat fish. Again, not very often. They have some frozen fish fillets, not the breaded kind, but the plain ones, that if I catch a bag of those on sale at the grocery store, I will pick those up, bring them home, thaw them out, and fry them in some butter. But it's been probably 8 or 9 months since I've had any fish because, again, I live in Nebraska. Fish is expensive. But I have heard that happens. But it can go the other way as well. They were talking about this, I believe it was on Rick's live stream this morning, where people will have allergies to something and they can't eat it. But then after being carnivore for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, they can eat a little of it and they don't have any reaction. Now, if they go back to eating it every day, they'll probably still have a reaction. But some people that thought they were allergic to something was probably just a food reaction to something else that's similar. Hopefully what I just said made sense. Sorry I missed most of this live, but I got a phone call I had to take. I'll be sure to watch the replay to see what I missed. Yeah, the important thing to know is there's no live stream next week. And you'll see as the videos come out, they're going to be a little different. They're going to be shorts next week because I'm going to be in Ohio all next week. I'm leaving Tuesday and won't be back until Monday. So no live stream next week. I think seasoning is the way to make duck food tasty to humans. Yeah, well, you know, if you're trying to get somebody to convert to carnivore, like the person that asked about seasoning was, seasoning it up so that they will actually eat it can be a good thing. I primarily just use salt now, but like I said, occasionally I'm in the mood for something spicy. I keep a bottle of hot sauce in the fridge because every once in a while I have the hankering for something spicy, so I have something spicy. Yeah, I have no idea. It was the stuff that I had always had on the back of my stove because, you know, I used to buy great big containers of taco seasoning because I liked taco bowls. But they said there was just the one serving left in it. And because it was the last serving of it when I used it, I threw the thing out. So I can't even tell you what ingredients were in it because the bottle got thrown away after I used it, but before I realized how bad it hurt me. I just got some fertilized chicken and duck eggs for my incubator. Yeah, I hope you have good luck with all of those. Yes, indeed. I hope you have really good luck with those. Because being able to, whether you get females that will lay eggs for you or you end up with males that will end up in the fryer, either way, that's a good deal. I think I heard in the background Bob saying how much he loves sardines and how delicious they are. Yeah, well, I do like them, but because I'm such a nice guy, I know you like them too, John, so you can have my share. I won't buy any from the grocery store for the next couple of years, so you can feel free to order twice as many. Shorts, sleeveless shirt 83, and beef shanks cooking. Great, yep. So I was right. The weather is nice down there in Texas. I'm really looking forward to the nice weather of Texas next winter because we didn't really have much snow until February hit, and then February got here, and it's like, oh, this has been the driest winter on history in Omaha. Let's make up for lost ground. And, well, you can go back and watch my videos. I put out 6 or 7 snow plowing videos because that's what I was doing in February. Yep, I hope they hatch too. I used to grow Scotch bonnet and habanero. I don't know what a Scotch bonnet pepper is. I've never heard of that, but I know what a habanero pepper is. Their body resets after eliminating the offending foods for a long time. High in the middle and round on both ends. Oh, that's Ohio. Okay. I have white pepper. The expense is in what it takes to take the black skin of peppercorn off, and it's possible to get it to a finer powder. Well, once I get moved down there to Texas, we'll have to set up and I'll have to come visit you for a day, Granny, and I'll bring the meat and you can season them with white pepper, and we'll see if I am healthy enough to drive home afterwards. Interesting how people are allergic to things like iodine that exist naturally in the body. Well, Dr. Berry did a video on this. Nobody is allergic to iodine. You might be allergic to something that they mix with the iodine to give it to you, but it's not possible. If we were allergic to iodine, we would be dead. Just like if we were allergic to cholesterol, we would be dead. Every cell in the body needs iodine. It's not the iodine molecule itself, it's the stuff that it gets mixed with to give it to people. I'd be willing to bet anybody that says they're allergic to iodine, if you got them just some straight Lugol's iodine and they put a couple drops of it on their tongue, they wouldn't have any reaction to it. It wouldn't taste very good because I wouldn't do iodine like that. But it's not physically possible to be alive and be allergic to something that your body requires to function. Let's see here. Scotch bonnet is a habanero, just so you know. Okay. I'm off to hunt down food. The last few days, the shops are bare not good. Okay. Well, have fun going shopping. I think I have to make a run over to the grocery store tomorrow and buy just a little bit of food because I have, in my fridge, I have 1 pound of ground beef left and about 6 burger patties and a 4.5 pound pork roast. So I can get 2 meals out of the pork roast and 1 out of the hamburger meat that I have left. And I have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I have 3 days left to eat. So I might not have to go to the store, but I also will probably want something to cook up on Tuesday morning since I'm going to be... It's a stupid flight. My flight leaves here at 11, but to save myself $100, I took the long way around. So my flight is leaving Omaha at 7 o'clock in the morning, or 11 o'clock in the morning, and doesn't arrive in Ohio till about 7 in the evening because I have a 2-hour layover at LaGuardia in New York City. Because going to Minneapolis or Detroit to make the connection down to Dayton was a lot more expensive. And then on the way home, I leave Dayton and fly to Atlanta. And then from Atlanta, I fly back to Omaha. So I am going to probably need to get something to have Tuesday mornings that I'm not wishing for food by the time I land in Dayton. Yep. Yes, enjoy your beautiful day, night, everyone. Enjoy your shopping trip, Josephine. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Because as a quick reminder, there is no live stream next week. We've got about 5 minutes left. If anybody has any further questions or comments or a quick topic they want to talk about, now's the time to get it in. While I'm waiting to see if any of those come in, I do want to say thank you to everyone for being here today. This is, without question, my favorite hour of the week. I like the hour I spend with Dave talking to everybody between the 2 channels. That's a great time too. But this hour, we've got basically 24 of my best followers, most loyal followers in the chat, talking with me, and we'll talk about whatever the heck it is you want to talk about, really. This is my favorite hour of the week, and I'm glad you guys were here. What is your plan for eating carnivore while you're traveling? Well, because Janet knows I'm carnivore, and I'm not going to eat while I'm actually traveling on the plane. But Janet has her refrigerator stocked with ground beef, beef roasts, and because she has money, there's 4 or 5 packages of bacon in her freezer as well. And she said, you're welcome to have as much of that as you want. And I plan to. And Bama J is here. Hello, Bama J. I'm glad you made it in. We're just about done. We've only got a couple of minutes left, but I'm glad you got in to say hi. I hate being in a commercial aircraft. No wonder I never travel. Yeah, I hate flying. I actually thought about canceling the flight and driving to Ohio, but it's just too much of a hassle. So I'll put up with the flights. I'm not wild about flying. I've probably only been on a big commercial airplane 8 or 9 times in my entire life. I'm not wild about it, but because I actually like to drive. And it really only takes about 12 and a half hours to drive from here to my sister's house in Ohio. But she sent me the money for the plane ticket, so I bought a plane ticket. Let's see here, where am I? Yeah, I've already gotten to that comment. The elites are here. Okay. I'm hoping I can do some. Yeah, once you get that motor in your truck, it should, hopefully, the motor has good compression and it's in good enough shape that you can actually drive it further than around the block. Safe travels. Evil Trump fired all the air traffic controllers. No, he did not. That's fiction. And Shoppy Sharp is here. Hello, Bob. I'm glad you made it in. Like I said, I'm just about ready to wrap things up, but I'm glad you're here. The only thing I like about driving is you can cook while traveling. Yeah, see, I like driving. I drove for a living. And that's one of the things that made me an excellent truck driver is I don't get tired when I drive. Now, it's against the law to do it in a truck if you're driving commercially, but, I can count many times back when Mom lived in Florida, I would get in my car here and drive all the way down to Mom's house, which was south of Tampa, which was about a 26 and a half, 27-hour drive. And I would always do it all in one shot. Never got tired. Now, once I got there and it was over, I would crash out and sleep for a good 12 hours or so, but I don't get tired when I drive. Yep. I assumed it was, but you never know these days. We don't want fake news in the chat, do we? And let's see here. I love the smell of meat cooking when I'm driving. Yeah, I'm sure that does make the vehicle smell very good when you've got something in your engine block cooker while you're driving down the road. I bet that would be really nice. But yeah, and if you guys haven't seen the engine cooker video on Rick's channel, you should go watch that. And I plan to hop between friends' homes and farms when I do the road trip. Yep, load the Bobcat up, bring it out to Texas. I'll even pay you to do the work if your truck can make the trip with the Bobcat on the trailer. We'll see how it goes. You sure it's not diesel fumes? That's funny. But anyway, I really enjoyed being here with you guys today. I won't see you live for 2 weeks. But that week when I get back, I've got a live with Dave on Wednesday and then my live stream on Friday. So I'll be live twice in 2 weeks. The Wednesday live with Dave is a little later than usual because he had something else going on. But rather than skipping a week, we pushed it back. So I think that's going to be, it's normally at 4:30 Central, and I think it's going to be like 5:15 Central. I'll have to wait till he schedules it and look at it, and I'll let you know about that when it comes up. But that's a live stream wrap for today. I hope you had fun as much as I did, because I certainly enjoy doing this. But don't forget, folks, get out there, be 1% better today, tomorrow, and every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you tomorrow.